Hey, you guys. I wasn't really planning on making a video this morning. I spent the better part of the morning on some tinnitus support group sites, connecting with people who I've created relationships with, just finding out how Christmas was, how New Year's has been, how everybody's been feeling over the last month or so. Just, trying to build a little community for myself and keep in touch with people who lift me up, and I try to do the same for them. And I know Christmas can be a difficult time for some people. It is the part of the year when there are the most suicides, the most clinical depression. And I've noticed for myself that I had a spike, 9 or 10 day spike over before going into Christmas, a little bit before, but going into Christmas. And then when I looked back in my notes, I realized that last Christmas I also had a spike. So, there is something there, maybe just around the stress of it all the hustle and bustle, the rushing around, the gift buying, the this and the that. But I don't think it's a coincidence that my tinnitus spiked at Christmas 2 years in a row. But you know, I was on some of these support groups, and there is a lot of suicide talk. I mean, a lot of it. And I just want people to be mindful of the things that they say to other sufferers. We can't judge where people are at in their tinnitus journey. You only know what your tinnitus is like. So don't compare somebody else's experience to your own. When my tinnitus first started, on the tinnitus functional index, I rated about a 9 out of 10. It was horrendous. When I was in that place, I did not know how I was going to make it to the next day. I didn't know if I would be able to live with my tinnitus as it was. I didn't know if it was going to reduce or not. I didn't know if it was going to get worse. I just knew how horrible it felt. And although I may not have expressly come out and say that I was suicidal or that I wanted to hurt myself, the thoughts were that I don't know how I'm going to live with this. I just want us to be mindful of other people's pain. You can't say to somebody to toughen up or to be strong or, to put your big girl panties on. Like, that is not what we're going to do. Every single person is in a different place with their tinnitus, and only they know what they're going through. Even though we may all have the same thing, it does not feel the same way. They're all different. Some of us have tinnitus like mine that doesn't come and go. I have had my tinnitus since March of 2022. There has not been a single day that I have not heard it. Other people have tinnitus that'll be on for 4 days and off for 4 days. Some people have tinnitus that changes noises. Some people have a singular noise. And even within that, everybody handles everything differently. My tinnitus may be at a 5 or a 4, and it may be manageable for me, but that exact same noise, that exact same volume could be different for another person. The way that they handle it could be different. I just want people to be mindful that we need to support each other. We need to lift each other up, and we need to be empathetic and respectful to what every person is going through. And if somebody says something that you don't like, or somebody says something that you don't understand or you don't agree with, there's no reason to be mean or nasty or derogatory about it. You can disagree and leave it at that. You cannot respond at all. You don't know what that person is going through. So let's just, moving forward in this year, try to be kinder to one another. because we all know what this feels like and we all wish that we didn't have to deal with it. So just treat other people how you would want to be treated when you were at your worst. I have a handful of people that I lean on. I have people who I now call my friends, who I've met through some tinnitus forums. We don't talk every day, but when we do talk, it is supportive, it is mindful, it is back and forth, it's talking and listening and sharing. There is no judgment. And if I don't hear from them, that's okay. I'll send a little nudge and say, hey, you don't have to respond. I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you and that I hope you're doing okay. And they do the same thing for me. You have to meet people where they're at and not push them to where they're not ready to be. Just be mindful with your words because they matter. I also just want to say that if you find yourself in a place where you are suicidal, where you don't feel like you're managing well, where you don't know how you're going to make it to the next day, just reach out for help. That is why there is a suicide hotline. They have them all over the world. Reach out to your family and friends. Do not assume that they're not going to be there for you. Just try to pull yourself out of that sunken place enough to ask somebody for help, to let somebody know how you're feeling. And just try to make it through to the next day. It is one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 minute at a time when it comes to tinnitus. But you're not alone. You don't have to be alone. And if you reach out for help, there will be somebody to give you their hand back. Um, don't suffer by yourself. That is all. Have an awesome day. Talk to you later.